Hello and welcome to my January wrap up. Things are a little bit different. There's a different scenery. There is a lot of different things going on, but I am actually talking about a lot of the updates that I've had in the past 3 years since I've uploaded a video and a new vlog. I'm doing a 24-hour readathon. While I'm filming this, I'm taking a break just to film this, so you'll get a lot of the updates in that video. I strictly wanted this video to be just my January wrap up. So I read 6 books in January, which is a very good start to the year because in 2023, I only read 20 books. A whole year. I don't know what was going on, but I was taking months to read one single book, and in January it took me like the longest was like 3 days. So I'm gonna start with the first book that I have, which is the Spectacular. This book is spectacular. I was currently trying to figure out some buddy reads with Haley, and she gave me her book of the month books that she needs to get through, so I picked that one. I finished it, but she hasn't yet. But basically the premise is of a rocket, and it goes from back and forth from like when she was a rocket to when she is older and doing like a press thing. I listened to the audiobook because I only had the physical book from the library for a little bit. I highly recommend the audiobook just because the two narrators are so good at just telling the story. It will keep you on your toes. I started reading it in December, so I finished it the very 1st of January. So that was the first book I read, 5 out of 5 stars. I was very happy with my very first read. I'm not sure the exact order of the next few books. I did read them in. The next book that I read is Revenge Era. I don't read smut, honestly. I will read it if they're in books that I'm already reading and it's like one chapter, that I read that. But when it's like every single chapter, I really don't read those. I only really read it because it's Taylor Swift themed and all of the chapters are a Taylor Swift song. So of course I read that because that Taylor Swift is my favorite. And I didn't mind it. There were a lot of parts I did skip because I just don't read stuff like that. But 4 out of 5 stars. I liked the storyline. And I think she has another book coming out in April that I will most likely read because I do like her writing style. So there was that. You're not gonna really see a lot of those, but you'll maybe see them sprinkled in occasionally. It just happens. I get bored sometimes on Kindle Unlimited and I just find things that are pretty. I don't know if the camera picked that up. There's a cat that is wanting my attention. So the next book that I wrote, well actually 3 of the books in this TBR is Stephen King because I am currently reading them in publication order, or kind of, for the most part I am, but if I'm excited about a book I'm just gonna go ahead and read it instead of just waiting. So of course the first book I read was Carrie. I think I read like a few pages or a little bit. I read some of it and then I put it down, and then I basically finished the whole book that same day. 4 out of 5 stars. I definitely feel like this is like a first book because going between this and then going way down into Misery, which we'll talk about in a second, you can definitely tell there is a different writing style. He definitely gets better at writing. But I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. I mean, I love the movie. I've seen the remake. I've seen the original, which I then watched the remake after I finished this. I was gonna watch the original, but I do kind of like the remake a little more, so I just went ahead and watched that. If there are movies or TV shows that are based off these books, I am going to read them. So the next book that I read was Salem's Lot. I tried to find out that if there was a TV show, and I saw one that was made like a long time ago that was really old, and then I saw there was a 2-part series with Rob Lowe in it, so I was like, oh, I love Rob Lowe, so I'll probably look into that. I haven't yet. I gave this one a 3.5 out of 5 stars because I'm into vampires, but this whole vampire thing I wasn't really much into. I mean, it's still a good book. I like the storyline. I like the idea of the main character going back to his hometown to speculate and really go more into detail in the scary house that he grew up knowing about. I think it definitely got better the more into the book. I feel like I liked the ending the most. But I do like the cover. I got these in a box set. I'm currently reading The Shining right now, so that's somewhere for Christmas from one of my roommates. So these are the only really ones that I own. I used to own a lot, but I think when I moved I either gave them to my grandma, so a lot of these books I'm probably going to be reading library books, or I will purchase some of them like I did Misery. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk about this one next. I never watched the movie, and I know the movie's kind of old with them, but I knew about the movie. I knew it was, like, a lot of people loved it. I kind of knew the premise of it. So going into this book, I knew basically what the book is about. It's about a lady who ends up finding her favorite novelist in a car accident and basically keeps him hostage. The book was definitely a lot more gruesome than the movie because my boyfriend now, his name is Jose, he was telling me, because he's seen the movie, he was like, oh yeah, like they do this and this. I'm like, they don't really do that in this one. And then I read the last like chapter and then watched the movie, and I was telling him, I'm like, no, this and this happened in the book, and it was a lot more, and I kind of wish that they put that in there, but I'm not sure if it was just because of the time or what. I highly recommend this book. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I feel like this would be one of those ones where I might reread it, not anytime soon, because I'm still basically kind of traumatized from this one. So after I read this, I had to take a break from Stephen King, and I read People We Meet on Vacation because I needed something that was lighthearted and not going to keep me up at night, which books, well, half the time don't keep me up at night, but that one kind of did. And I love Emily Henry. I read Happy Place when it came out, and it took me a while to read it. Like I read it a little bit at first, and then once like I actually like picked it up and was like concentrating on it, I love her writing style. I have one more book to read before the new one comes out, which is Book Lovers. So I'm probably going to buy that one eventually, because I do own all of her books and I want to keep owning all of her books. So People We Meet on Vacation I thought would be a lot different than it was. We have two of our main characters, Poppy and Alex, and I like how this book is formatted because we go to the present, back to their vacations leading up to like what happened and made them stop being friends for 2 years. And I think just everything that she makes is perfect. And 5 out of 5 stars. She's definitely one of those ones where it's like an automatic buy. So yeah, those were all of the books that I read in January. I have a lot of books for February that I am now trying to get through in my 24-hour readathon, which is what I'm filming right now. I also have a lot of updates in that video that is coming up because there's a lot of things that changed, and I would definitely want to get back into this. I say that like every update video, and then you don't see me for 3 years. So we'll see what happens. I think I did a pretty good reading month. I hope it doesn't slow down now, because I did read, this is like a lot for me for a month, so I'm hoping that it doesn't go away, because I did have a lot of fun like getting back into reading. I did do my January wrap up on TikTok, so now I just have to do this, edit it, and get it uploaded. So yeah, I have missed y'all, and I hope this year we get back into things. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.